Good afternoon, TEDxUnity Park. It's wonderful to be here today, and I bet you're probably all wondering where I'm from after my first few words. Any guesses? Australia, New Zealand? Anything else? South Africa, fabulous, love it. I'm actually from here. So my aunt's actually out on the crowd, and I think my dad also went to school about 20 minutes from here, and I was out in Greer today getting my hair done for this. And I was thinking there used to be so many more trees on Pelham Road than there is now, right? Any locals can understand that. But one of you, this gentleman up at the front, correctly assumed that the accent is Australian. So my dad's side are from here, my mum's side are from Australia, and that's where I was raised. And I'm very excited to be sharing an idea with you, a transformational idea, that you can be unstoppable without sacrificing your life, your job, your kids, or most importantly, yourself. You are capable of so much more than you can ever imagine. You can accept that promotion without burning out at home. You can lose 30 pounds by the end of summer without giving up the wood-fired pizza. So let's do a little bit of an exercise. I want you all to raise your hand and keep your hand up if you've ever experienced any of these things. If you've ever procrastinated on a goal or something really important and then been in a mad rush to complete it at the end. I know I have. If you have tried a myriad of different things, you're quite multi-passionate and you're not quite sure what you can stick to yet. Or if you know exactly what you're passionate about, you have a burning goal, but you're just not seeing the results yet. You're working day in and day out and you haven't seen those results yet. Now look around. Everyone has their hands up. We're not alone in this together. Most of you know what success looks like, and most of you even know the actions required of you to succeed. You know exactly how to lose weight. You know exactly how to write that book. Yet we're not doing it. 80% of you who set a New Year's resolution have already given up. Why? That's the question we're here to answer today. So most of us look at our goals really linearly. And because I'm a fitness trainer, I'm going to give a lot of weight loss examples throughout this. So when we look at weight loss, typically we take a look online, some good weight loss methods, and we pick one, whether it be keto, whether it be carnivorism, that's cool now apparently, whether it be Pilates or CrossFit. There's loads of different ways that you can lose weight, and you will be successful at any of these methods if you stick to it. You focus on your calorie intake and your calorie expenditure. Maybe you realize that 1 pound of fat equals 3,500 calories, so you're looking for that 500 calorie deficit. And then you look for that basal metabolic rate and you ensure that every single meal that you eat is not under that basal metabolic rate, and then you think, okay, if I stick to this, I'm going to lose 1 pound per week. It's exhausting. And our weight loss expectation looks a little bit like this. It's very linear. 1 week equals 1 pound lost. 2 weeks equals 2 pounds lost. But anyone who's been successful on a weight loss journey knows that that isn't how this works. So any goal that you have, it looks more like your 401k or compounding interest. There's this period at the start that sucks. It just absolutely sucks. You're putting in the work and you're not getting the results you're seeing, and it's really, really, really frustrating. So in the same context of weight loss, often at the start, you've got to throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. You might start with Pilates, and then you realize, you know what? I'm more of a CrossFit junkie. I want to do some Olympic lifting. You might also start with certain types of recipes, and then you start to find more ways you can get more protein in. And if we get a little bit more technical at the end, if we are doing weightlifting, often at the start we need to lift really, really light weights with good technique before we get to those newbie gains. And those newbie gains, and when we start building muscle mass, that's when our body gets really, really efficient. So this early period here, this dark night of the soul, so to speak, this is where dreams go to die. So that's what we're going to focus on in this talk. So luckily you already have 3 resources at your fingertips to be able to overcome this period. Time, energy, and money. So money. You can shorten the time and energy it takes to learn any goal by paying an expert, whether it's book marketing, exercise, nutrition. There is somebody who will shorten the time it takes for you to get a goal by them sharing their expertise in exchange for money. Time. We have this wonderful search engine called Google. If you're ready to put in the time, put in the hard yards to research, to filter out the stuff that isn't true, and then go and execute, you will get your goals. Energy. Energy is the most overlooked resource that we have, and we're not focusing on enough. Not focusing on your energy is actually what causes us to burn out. Not having enough energy will cause you to freeze, procrastinate, you might be context switching, and it causes executive dysfunction. So it's wild how much just a single thought can take your energy. Have you ever read pages and pages and pages through a book to realize, I actually don't remember anything that's on this page? And then you start flicking back and you're like, wow, I've not been paying attention for a while. And it happens to us in meetings at work. We're camera off and we're working on something else. And then when someone says your name, Laura, you're like, oh, what have they just said? And it can happen to you at a TEDx talk when the speaker has an accent. You're trying to figure out, is she from New Zealand or Australia? That no really sounds like a no. She must be Australian. And we don't listen to any of the content that they say. So energy is really, really important. And there's 3 steps that you can use to help boost your energy throughout life. So first, if you were going to be redesigning your living room, you might have a new sofa, a new rug, and you want to spruce the place up. What's the first thing that you're going to do when you receive that new sofa? You're going to clear out all the old stuff. You're going to clear out that old sofa, you're going to roll up that dusty rug, and you're probably going to give the place a nice deep clean because you want it to be really clean for your new living room look. We're not getting that new sofa, trying to put it on top of the old sofa, keep everything all in there and not clean up at all. So why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you holding on to the old versions of yourself, the old identities, friendships that are no longer serving you anymore, and then trying to use the minimal time that you have for your new goal? It just doesn't work like that. So here's a few examples of things that you can clear out in your life. First are thoughts. We're always thinking. Our thoughts are going 24/7. And we need to observe these thoughts and be aware of what we're feeding ourselves, the messages that we're feeding ourselves. Are they serving the new version of myself or not? Am I serving myself or not? Friendships and relationships. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Do you like that average? Often, if you want to be a better runner, you need to run with faster runners, and we know this. But breaking off old relationships can be really difficult. And lastly is identities. Often, we hold on to these old words that we use to describe ourselves. So as an example, maybe you're an entrepreneur in this room, but you were known at school, maybe in college, for being really shy, but you're actually quite enjoying this TEDx event. You're quite enjoying being more extroverted. It's okay to let go of that old identity. Maybe you weren't very athletic, and when you go into a gym, you feel excited for the new habit, but you also feel a little bit out of place. There will come a time, and it is a process, where you need to let go of that child who's been bullied and welcome in this new life. All of these old identities, thoughts, and behaviours are like extra tabs open in your brain. Now, I'm a big fan. Anyone who works with me knows that I talk about context switching a lot. And if you're context switching between tabs on the computer, anyone have 10 plus tabs open all at the same time? I see a few hands out there. I'm ashamed to say it even though I'm talking about it. I relate. So this actually decreases your productivity by up to 40%. It slows down your computer and it decreases your battery life. Imagine what holding on to all these old thoughts, these old beliefs, these old identities is doing to your goals in the future. So step 1, let go of the old. Step 2, we always have so much more energy and we can complete our goals more tomorrow, don't we? Or Monday. We're always thinking about ourselves tomorrow in this idolized way. So what I would recommend for folks in this camp is to set yourself maximum and minimum goals. So I actually had a podcast guest, and his dad went to the gym all the time. He was an avid gym goer, loved to do it, but unfortunately he fell ill and he needed to look after himself and get some surgery. And the doctor said, you can't go to the gym. You've got to rest. You've got to relax for a bit. So what do you think he did day one once he got out of surgery? Went straight to the gym. But he drove to the gym, he walked through the doors, he did a lap around the gym, and then he walked out and drove home. He knew that his 5% habit was to just get there. 80% of the work when it comes to going to the gym is actually getting there. So it didn't matter what he actually did. So what I would recommend to you all is set yourself a 10% habit and set yourself a 100% habit. I probably don't need to speak to you all about what your 100% habit looks like. You're probably telling yourself on a Sunday night, I'm going to go running 4 times next week for 60 minutes each time. We all tell ourselves that. So I want you all to reflect on your 10% habit right now. Let's just say it's 60 minutes of running. If you only had 10% energy, you had a terrible day at work because of some client emergency, the kids are sick, which makes it even worse, you come home and there's dirty dishes everywhere, the house is just a pigsty. What are you capable of doing on this day? It might be 5 minutes of high knees in your home. It also may be when you are waiting for your tea to boil. Maybe you always have an evening tea. During that 3 to 5 minutes, you do a core workout. Step 1, clear out the old. Step 2, plan for every day, not just your best days. Step 3, stop trying to put yourself into a box that you're not going to be in. Anyone here like to sleep in like I do? I'm not seeing many hands, but I heard a yes. So shout out to the yes. I definitely enjoy sleeping, but I like to think of myself as pretty successful. I'm doing all right. And a lot of successful CEOs, including Mark Zuckerberg, claim to wake up at 8 a.m. So you do not need to rise and grind, and the early bird definitely does not always get the worm. They can get the worm though. So what I would say is when I was a part of corporate New Zealand, I guess, because I was living in New Zealand, I noticed that burnout culture was very prevalent. We were speaking about fatigue a lot. But when I moved into part HR consultancy, but then part fitness coaching, I realized we weren't talking about burnout at all in the fitness industry. The messages we're being fed is wake up earlier, work harder, you're lazy. But this isn't the case. So a better way to look at it, and the way that all of these CEOs look at it, is they know the times that they're most productive, they're most strong, and most creative. So over the next month, I want you to do a self-observation exercise. Consider the times you're most productive, when you're just ticking off all of those boxes. When you're most strong or when you're most fast. Try working out in the morning, in the middle of the day, and after work. And then when you're most creative. When all of those ideas are firing and all of them are coming to you. Step 1, clear out the old. Step 2, plan for every day, not just your best days. Step 3, optimize your energy for your peak periods. You're not lazy, you're just exhausted. 92% of you will not achieve your goal this year that you set out for statistically. 80% of you have already given up. Good thing is that you can restart today, and you're not going to give up this time because you've got 3 tips. Stop just looking at time and money as a currency. Also look at your energy. You can get your goals without burning out. Thank you.